All right, what's going on, guys? I promise that this one is not going to be as long as the other one, but welcome back to the channel where we discuss all types of things. And today we're discussing the moment when tech changed my life and why I wish it changed it sooner. So it was just this moment, right? I don't know why this light is shining like that. It's fucking shining bright, I guess. The moment tech changed everything for me, right, was actually this show. And this is a show that you probably haven't heard of or anything like that because it came out almost 2 decades ago ish, give or take. And so it was a show called Leverage. And this show, and of course, there's like other baby shows like Dexter's Laboratory and stuff. Didi don't type of things, but like so the real one of like real life, if you will, that got me into it was more so which one call it Leverage. And so the premise of Leverage is basically you have a bunch of uh bad people, if you will, who are very skilled in multiple realms. And so what they do is you have one guy who's really tech. He's a tech geek and he's a hacker. He could hack into different stuff. He has different pieces of technology, right? Then you have this person who's the thief, very good at just taking shit, right? You have a mastermind. You have the muscle. You have the person who's easy to talk with people and leverage, communication and stuff. And so the hacker guy was so interesting to me because like eventually the hacker guy became the guy who was able to do everything. And the more and more that I like delve into tech and stuff like that, the more and more I realize that really the cool people, if you will, of like, I want to be a spy like 007. Like, yeah, he the way he handles all these situations and all his gadgets and stuff like that, like that's what I want. And so it's like there's there's that, but that's really a person who's a hacker because there's penetration testing. And so penetration testing could be like I literally try to hack into your website or your computer or whatnot. Or it could be something like um, I go inside to your building and try to get access to your building and access to the different areas where I shouldn't be having access to, right? And so that's another side of hacking, but that's the physical form. And so that's something that wasn't necessarily in the forefront of everything, showing you like, oh, hacking is this, right? Specifically. So there's multiple realms, of course, of hacking that you could get into, or tech specifically that you could get into. But so it's like though that was my initial phase, and the reason why I got into it, I wish I got into it sooner, is like that was the catalyst to make me think about hacking really at a deeper level. But I still didn't take the action necessarily to start learning the stuff myself. And so like yeah, there's some like simple like Control Alt Delete to log off or things like that, like nothing too crazy, right? And so as time went on, right, I began to realize that, oh, wow, like the age of social media that we lived through, or I was in high school at the time when social media really became a thing, even like a little bit of middle school. And so, like, it's like nobody cared about their data. I was like, ah, it is what it is. Like, we just, accept you just got to accept the privacy policy so you could, like, do the app. But nobody reads the shit. And so it became a thing where it's like passwords, man, I don't care. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Password is password. Right. And so it's like then everybody began to be getting hacked because of this stuff. Or data breaches. You probably hear about like, oh, AT&T got I don't know, it was like a 3 billion uh different like users or some shit got affected or some shit like that, information exposed or something like that. And so it's like that's a big data leak. And so it's like it doesn't matter if we're safe, we're still at the mercy of whoever's technology that we're using. So like currently I'm using a Mac, right, to do this live. So it's like I'm at the mercy of Apple. So if Apple decides, hey, we no longer support this laptop, then it's like the laptop becomes crappier, right? And same thing with, actually, I have a laptop right here. Oh, at the bottom. This laptop is a Lenovo T480 ThinkPad. I love this thing. But the support for, if you're around ish, but the support for Windows 10 is no longer available. And that's something that runs on Windows 10. So then it makes me think, okay, do I keep on going Windows or do I switch and do something else, right? You have Linux that you could go into, and Linux has multiple different variations of that. But it's like, then it poses the question, okay, now I have to change it because they're not supporting this technology anymore. So, regardless if I love it and I love the interface of what's going on, I don't have necessarily the control of this tech to be like, okay, like I could keep using it. No, now if I keep using it, well, the October actually was the last time that this thing got updated, so it's well due for a upgrade, if you will. But it's like, that's a situation where it's like that forces people, right? If they're not the tech savvy person to just like be like, okay, I have a USB stick actually, right here. This is not the right one. This is a different USB stick, but this is like a USB. They don't know the process of how to install an operating system onto their computer, and so it's like that's a skill in itself, if you will. And so it's like that's something that I'm familiar with. I had to do that multiple times. So it's like it's not necessarily a big hassle of me like, ooh, like should I do Windows 11 or should I do Ubuntu? Like I could just like put the stick in. 5 minutes later, basically have everything done, right? But now it's like it leads a lot of people who are like, all right, throw that in the garbage. It doesn't work anymore. We need to get a new one, right? We need to get something with 11. And so all these different Windows 10 laptops or computers and stuff, they're not necessarily all going in the garbage, but now it's like they lost their purpose. And so if I'm a business, a lot of these Lenovo ThinkPads, right, are more so for business. And so when that happens, it's like they have to switch to the next thing. So they have to switch to the next platform. So they're dumping. Imagine there's companies with, hundreds of thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, hundreds of people. So they're dumping a lot of these laptops. And so the market is filled with them. And the only reason why specifically, I got this one and not something newer is a T480, right? Is because the upgradability. Like you could upgrade the battery right here in the back. You could upgrade the RAM, um, different storage in there, and you don't have to. It's not as complicated, or it's not as prevented as this laptop, right? For example, this laptop is a MacBook Air, and so everything is soldered to the motherboard. And since that's the case, that means that it's not really detachable. You can, I'm sure, like you could go through the hassle of being very tedious and detach it, but because it's like that, you don't even want to touch it. And so that's the way laptops are made now. And so I tend to stay away from that these days because it's like they control you basically because you have to do their updates, right? You have to even the updates that, like, for example, back in the day, um, iPhone used to have the YouTube app on your phone. And then there was an update where they got rid of the YouTube app, and then you just had to download a different YouTube app, or it just like changed the way YouTube worked. Because it went from you could in the background have YouTube playing and just roam around the world, basically do whatever you gotta do, and it would work. But then after that update, literally you would close your phone, swipe the app or whatever, YouTube would no longer work. And so it's like that's again stuff that we don't realize that we lost the control over by doing just something as simple as a software update. And so there's those aspects of things. But then there's more so stuff that are simple, right? What about photos? You probably have pictures on your phone, might have years worth of pictures on your phone. Okay, what happens if you lose your phone? Are all your pictures gone? Some of you maybe yes. Some of you maybe know because you got it backed up on Google Storage or iCloud storage. Great. That's definitely a level of protection right there, right? But the difficulty to at least on iCloud, right? iCloud is very much more complicated to just simply take your stuff from there, right? But so when it comes to Google, it's good, right? But still, somebody else is a third party. So you might want to have like something as simple as like a hard drive. This is not a hard drive, but it looks like one. Um, but this is a hard drive, right? And so like you might want to just get a hard drive and then just store the things in a hard drive so you have them in person too. You always want to follow in cybersecurity. It's like the 3-2-1 rule. So you have 3 copies, 2 copies, and 1 copy offsite. And so that offsite copy would be something like an iCloud or a Google, right? That's a simple offshore copy, right? Because it's like, even if I house it on all these wonderful pieces of technology that I have, per se, the PC or 2 PCs, whatever, it's like, okay, it's in my house. What if somebody comes, steals my computers? Boom, it's gone. And it's like, I housed all my information there. So I then back it up to somewhere outside of it. Or God forbid, the house burns down. And it's like, boom, it's like I have nothing now, right? So it's like it's always good to practice having multiple iterations. So it's like, okay, I have it on my phone, I have it on iCloud, I have it on the hard drive. There's 3, right? And so that makes it so that you're very well protected in any occasion. And so, but that's something that I didn't take seriously, honestly, myself, because I wasn't that serious about the tech stuff. I didn't care about, having a different password, a different email for every single login and stuff like that. It's a hassle. It's definitely a hassle. It's not something that's like, oh, it's so simple. You just got remember 50 different emails. It's not that hard. Come on now. And then 50 different passwords. It's like, no, it's kind of difficult. So you do have to be well organized in order to like properly do this stuff. But it's like when you do this stuff, it just creates that redundancy where it's like, okay, if somebody gets into your Facebook, they don't get into your Instagram, into your Twitter, into your TikTok, into your Facebook, right? You want to isolate it. So it's like, okay, you logged into Facebook, but you still don't get access to Instagram. You still don't get access to Twitter, Snapchat, whatever have you, right? So this is the modern day age problem, if you will, is that still there's a lot of people out there who don't necessarily care about this information. They just still rather be ignorant, if you will, because ignorance is definitely bliss. It's like once you know, then you're like, fuck, I know, I can't do. If I do it like this, I already know I'm gonna get fucked, and so I'm knowingly getting fucked. Do you want to knowingly get fucked? I would say no. And so that's why it makes us make different decisions, right? And so that's the power of knowing, if you will. And even so, like for example, this laptop, it has so many different ports, right? There's 2 there, but then here we get into like the spicy ones. We have HDMI, and then Ethernet and stuff like that. Laptops don't have that anymore. Like you can't just regularly like connect hardwire your laptop without an adapter. I have so many different adapters per se to like put it on a computer screen, on a TV screen or whatnot. But it's like I don't have the adapter specifically for this laptop because this one only has two USB-Cs on that side, one side, and then a audio jack, and that's it. Besides the plug. And so it's like that's it. That's all we're basically getting these days. It's just like, all right, something to like connect external power, a hard drive or something like that. And then it's like you connect your headset apparently, and then nothing else, right? Unlike this one, it's like I have HDMI, I have 2 USBs right here. I have a headphone, I have an Ethernet. I can even read SD cards in this as well. And then right here we get again a few power outputs. And so it's like they don't make it like this. And this is very robust. It's heavier for sure because it's like a brick basically, but a modern day brick, if you will. Definitely not like the laptops back in the day. But going back to it, um, it changed when there wasn't necessarily identity theft, but there was a time when somebody apparently used a credit card of mine that I kept in my house. I'm telling you, kept this in my house. This wasn't a credit card that I roamed around with. I used it once and then it sat on the shelf. That's it. Never touched it anymore. And so months, if not almost 2 years go by, really no transactions on that credit card. Then randomly, right? I get a charge that, oh, you got Chick-fil-A from California. I'm like, I I've never been to California, so I don't know how the fuck that did I buy this if I never been to California. And so I call up the company, and the company's like, nah, you did this. This is your charge. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like there's literally no possibility. This shit just lives inside of my house. It doesn't move. There was only one time that I used it, and it was one and done, and I threw it on the shelf. So how are you telling me that this got used? Well, I'll tell you in hindsight now. The reason why that card got used is because a data broker of some sort, whether that's the nice kind, got access to this information from whatever company that I used it with, aka I used it with Best Buy, mind you, and or the company that issued the card. So those are the only choices because I literally didn't use the card except Best Buy and literally authorizing to get the card itself. So it's like one of those two people exposed me to this problem. And so that's something that we have to deal with. It's like again, we're based on everybody else's decisions, we get screwed as well. And so it's like even if we go to the gas pump, right, and somebody puts like a credit card reader on there, and we swipe it, the gas station is not at fault. It's still on you. And so it's crazy. So if we don't protect our data, we get in sketchy situations like that. And even when we do protect our data, like the Best Buy credit card or whatever the fuck it was, that I put on the shelf, I'm still at risk at some type of capacity because somebody owns the information. And so again, if other people are not practicing cybersecurity well enough, that or just general data security, it tends to affect us. And there's even companies out there that when you put a password in, instead of like having it look all like crazy computery, because computers like hide it's called a hash, and there might be multiple hashes that make up the full lock or full key that allows you to then create that password, or it shows the password in plain text. And so it's like if I say password, it's not going to say, it shouldn't say password the way it's saved. But there's some companies out there that are still saving passwords and stuff in plain letters. And so it's like if that's the case, oh, like yeah, I just need to access this document or access this loophole in your software where I can access this information, ask it for this information. And then boom, once I get it, it's like, okay, it's up to me. Now, do I use the credit card, right? Or credit cards, because usually it's a database full of everybody's information, right? And so this is the biggest problem when it comes to just daily life now. Because daily life, it doesn't matter how secure we are if we're at the mercy of the companies that we use. And it's not to say that all companies are bad out there. It's just to say that imagine, imagine the clout. If I was able to dunk on Michael Jordan, right, in his face, ball my nuts in his face, that's gonna be like, damn, this you become legendary from that moment, right? And so it's like the same thing with all these tech companies. Okay, if I could hack into Google, I'm a I'm a legend, right? If I could hack into Amazon, I'm a legend. If I could hack into the government, I'm a legend. game companies, right? All these different, there's so many different avenues to become legendary, if you will, because it's like the before the Xbox, actually, the Xbox One came out, there was a leak. It was called the Durango. And so the that leak happened because somebody on the team didn't practice proper cybersecurity, and then they ended up getting hacked, and then people got the access to all this information. And what ended up happening is that even the government was using some of these developers, because actually in the 360 Xbox 360 console, there was like prototype consoles, and if you got access to that, you were able to be in the developer level of things and then be able to like do stuff that you shouldn't be able to do, basically. And so because these um and it's not just because of that happening, but that's like, another part of it. And so because of all these different access to things, it ended up being a leak of, they were at the time had one of these companies or developers had a contract with the military. And so it was doing simulators for, like, I don't know, flying some type of aircraft. And so because they were doing this type of work for the military, that's a big data breach. Again, even the military is not safe from the third party access, because again, we're only as safe as our best software. It's like, if you tell me to throw with my left hand and I'm a righty, it's like I'm gonna throw it like a bitch compared to my right hand. It's just what it is. So it's like I'm only as good as this left hand of mine. If my left hand can't throw it as good as my right hand, when somebody at, hey, throw with your opposite, shit, you sure? Or you could be the person, throw with your opposite. Oh, it's the same. Boom. It don't matter. The fastball 95 miles per hour, regardless of the hand. But it's like people don't train that skill, right? And that skill of making sure that you secure yourself by practicing the best security, I guess, if you will, is just giving limited access. Because if your users, um, or your employees only, if they have access to stuff that they shouldn't have, then that's the potential for a breach. Like, it's like an employee who's per se doing the deliveries of driving my routes shouldn't know what the invoice is for that, company, if you will. So it's like they should only have their invoice, right? And so it's like, if it's like, oh, you're making this shipment's costing, and it says in plain English, it's like, okay, this shipment is costing $1,000. The invoice is for 10,000, so he's making 9 grand, and he's only paying me $10. Oh, you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be like, yeah, there's money on the table for me for sure. And so again, that's the same thing with the access. It's like, if you know you're able to use it and access the information, you're gonna take advantage of that, right? Because not like he was happy until he found out that, oh shit, like he's making what, $8,990 on my labor, or something like that. Some to that equation. Yeah. Like, people want like stick around, right? So you gotta practice, like, okay, just give people the access they need. If you have in your house, if you have a Wi-Fi that allows two Wi-Fi networks, your main one and a guest one, make sure you use that, so that guests are on guests. Leave them on that basic shit, and you stay on the good shit. So that way, again, if you get breached, it's on the guest network, and you could shut that down, because that shouldn't be running all the time necessarily. It should be running only as they're here. It's like, okay, whoever's coming here for the weekend, for the week, whatever, all right, let's put this up for a week, the guest side of things, and then you shut that thing down. So you never really have to worry about any data breaches there. And I'll leave you with this last thing. This is the one I hate the most, honestly, because it's the most pain in the ass one, which is changing your passwords every 3 months. If you do that, you're way less likely to even like care about what's happening in the world. If there's a data breach that happens, it's like, oh, I already changed my password. Like, if you're in that consistent mode of changing your passwords, it's like that won't be a problem. It's like, okay, let's say this guy changes his password every 10 years. There's a lot of shit that happened in 10 years. Every 5 years, a lot of shit that happened in 5 years. 1 year, there's a lot of stuff that happens in a whole year, 365, right? So it's like, okay, if the data breach happened a year ago, well, that's a year of you being screwed. Okay, a year compared to 3 months, 90 days. It's not so bad. Ideally, as soon as you find out about data breach, you switch your passwords, right? But or you check if you're in the data breach and then you switch your passwords, right? But so that's all I have for you. That's literally the moment that I knew tech was more serious than I expected, and then why I wish that I took it more seriously before than how it came to be. I should have been in tech faster, basically. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Peace.